Hey, now we're going to get into your email or newsletter marketing. Marketing by email may sound so 2000 like Hotmail, but it's actually one of the highest converting channels you can have, especially if you do it right. So if this is important for you, great. Got a whole bunch of assumptions and flexibility here with great logic in it. If you don't really care about email, you can sort of set your assumptions to 0 and not really bother about it. I do highly recommend thinking about email because it's a great way to build up your customers without really having to pay for them. So how does this work? Well, you start out with a guide as usual, and we want to start out with how many emails you already have. Now, if you're a prolific blogger and you have 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 email followers, this is a great place to start. You chuck those in there. I've assumed you've got 10, you don't really know anyone, but you would just type in 3,000. Now, once you have newsletter emails of people, you want to send them emails, right? So how often are you going to email them? Is it 30 times a month? Is it once a month? Is it 4 times a month? So you type that number in here. So we'll assume 4. So 4 times 10 is 40 emails. So 10 people send 4 emails is 40 emails a month. That's here. Okay, that increases over time. Now, once you understand your customers better through more data, you might like to send some people some information and other people different information, because maybe some people like beans and some people like sausages. So emailing people who like sausages, beans is not going to be very useful in terms of getting them to do something, such as opening your email, sharing it, or clicking through to your website. So by segmenting out your customer base, you would expect to have a conversion rate on the number of people who will open your email or share it, right? We do this simply by assuming the number of segments that we're going to have for your user database. We start with 1, and that increases over time, 2, 3, 4. We'll come back to the use of this optimization in a second. Let's get into some more assumptions. Now, when we send people emails, they have the options to open it, click through to your website, or to share it, right? So what percentage of people will first off start opening your emails? We've set that at 8%, okay? Because we think that's in line with the benchmarks or experience that we have. Now, over time, that number should get better as you get smarter, right? But how do you model that? What we do is just say here, 1% improvement times by the number of segments you have. Look at the calculation. So we'll take our base rate of 8%, our 1% optimization rate, and times it by the number of segments that we have. And over time, you'll see this rate goes up. And now here it's 11 because we have 3 segments. So 8 plus 3, 11. So in terms of calculating our total opens, it's how many emails get sent times by the open rate. Now, the other option is that people are actually going to click through to your website. So 15% of people, we believe, are actually going to click through to your website. And that number is going to improve over time too. So we set that at 12.5%, which means in your first month with 1 segment, your click-through rate will be 17.5%, which will improve as we have more segments. Simple. Now, people can share those emails of people or forward to friends, right? So we assume 4.5% of people will share the emails that they've opened with their friends. Now, those emails that they've forwarded to the friends, 70% of people will click through to your website. We assume that because there must be a reason why people are sharing it with their friends. It can either be higher, up to 100%, or it could be lower, up to you to choose. So in terms of the traffic build, which we want to feed into our marketing sheet, we have 7 people who are clicking through from your database, and we have the people who have forwarded to their friends and clicking through, adding up to your total new traffic additions. And this is going to feed into your marketing sheet. You start off here with an email database, but we see your email database is getting bigger, right? So how is it getting bigger? People must be adding into your database. So we'll say we're driving all this traffic from organic, promotions, social, and paid channels to your website. So what percent of people who go to your website might click on a pop-up banner or a Sumo Me type email list builder and opt into your email. So we assume that is 0.7%, which at certain periods of time will be optimized to increase. That will then, multiplying these, lead to the people who will sign up from all those traffic sources. Now, you're going to have customers who are going to buy from you, and you might think they might be quite likely to subscribe to your newsletter, or you'll be tricky like a lot of people and automatically get people to subscribe to your email database. And so I've set that at 50%. So of all your customers, what percent times by that leads to the number of people who will add to your email list. But people will get sick of your emails, particularly if you send a lot of them. So who's going to unsubscribe? So you type in the number, what the optimization rate is for that, or if it will increase. And that will lead to the number of people who unsubscribe. So we add up the people who signed up, the people who signed up for the purchases, less your unsubscribes, and that will tell you the new additions or deductions for your newsletter email database, which adds up here. So 10 plus 58 equals 68. Now we have a chart here which shows you the people who are unsubscribing over time, the people who are signed up for the purchases, and from the other traffic sources. Your unsubscribe rate looks pretty big here, so you might want to check your assumptions and figure out why that's the case. But otherwise, this is a nice coherent framework that you can explain as to how you're going to drive traffic and trials from emails.